From the Carl Chevrolet Studios in West Des Moines, welcome to Iowa Live. I am Lou, and I am so excited to welcome Kim Baer back to the studio. Hi, Kim. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Lou?
We are great from the Baer Law Office, just teaching people a little bit about what's happening and what you really need to know in case something happens. And today we're talking about accidents.
Yes. I thought we'd talk about accidents with semi-trucks.
Okay.
I don't think people realize that there are very different laws and regulations that apply to semi-trucks. So if you end up in an accident with a semi-truck, you need to make sure that you hire a lawyer who has that kind of training.
Really? Why is it so specialized?
Right. So a good example is, semi-trucks have certain guidelines. So a good example would be, let's say it's raining.
Okay.
And the speed limit is 50 miles per hour.
Okay, like it is today.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So under the federal regulations that govern semi-trucks, it may be that semi-truck should only be going 30 or 35 miles per hour.
Really?
Exactly, because of the fact that it's big and it's got a load and it's going to take it a while to stop. So if the weather conditions are bad, those semi-trucks are required by federal law to slow down.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't realize that. And so, so when you have an accident with a semi-truck, it's really important to get the download from the semi-truck with regard to the speed and the brakes and exactly what happened leading up to the accident.
Now, is this something that you can get on the spot, or is this something that the driver or the company has to send you?
It's something that the driver or the company has to send you, or a lot of times we'll have an expert go to the truck. So
Oh, really?
Get it right there, right. You need somebody that really knows what they're doing. So you've got that issue, and then obviously there's requirements with regard to how long a semi-truck driver can drive. So has the driver been driving too long? Did the accident happen because the driver's tired?
Oh.
So those are all types of things that it's all information that we need to get, and we usually need to try to get it quickly.
Okay, yeah, and that is key, isn't it?
It
is to try to get the information as soon as you possibly can.
Exactly. If somebody calls me and says that they've been in an accident with a semi-truck, we act very differently than we would if it's going to be an accident with another car or a truck.
Okay,
So
let's talk about that. Let's talk about somebody has an accident with a semi-truck. How long before you normally get a phone call?
well, unfortunately, sometimes it's a while. Usually, usually if it's an accident with a semi-truck, the accidents tend to be fairly serious. So we might get a call pretty quickly, and as soon as we get that call, we're sending out letters to the semi-truck driver and the semi-truck company telling them we need you to preserve the information, and here's a list of everything we need, and we need access to the semi-truck right away.
Right, so there is really a list of things that people really need to keep in mind in case you're involved in an accident like this. What are some of the step-by-step things that people really need to take into account?
Right. Well, first of all, we want to tell people if you're in an accident with a semi-truck, first make sure you're okay. Don't get out into the line of traffic. We don't want to cause another accident. If you need medical help, call for medical help. Okay. So the number one thing is make sure you're okay and make sure that you're taking care of yourself. The lawsuit or the claim can come after that.
Got it.
Then after, if everybody's okay or the ambulance has been called, make sure that you call a police officer because we do need that type of documentation as well. Sometimes there's issues with regard to the semi-driver's license, and so that's something else that the police can help with.
Okay, and you want to make sure that you or someone documents the accident itself.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we live in the world of cell phones, so whip that cell phone out, or somebody, if you're hurt, ask one of the witnesses or somebody else in the car to take some photos, just because that way we know exactly what it looked like at the scene of the accident.
Now, you mentioned witnesses. That's important too.
That is important. A lot of times when there's an accident, people will stop. They want to make sure you're okay, but maybe they're late to work and they're not going to sit there for half an hour waiting for the police to show up. So just make sure, ask them for a business card, ask them for their cell phone number, exchange some information so that you can find these people later.
Yeah, then it's really important. It sounds like it's very, very important to contact an attorney that is specializing in handling these type of accidents. How can someone get a hold of you in case they've been involved in a crash like this?
Sure. You can call our office. I mean, we do have an injury hotline, which is the 515-INJURED, or you can call 515-279-2000. There's no charge for a consultation. We're happy to sit down and talk with you and see if we can help. Right,
and these cases can usually be resolved rather quickly, can't they?
They absolutely can, depending on your injuries. Obviously, we want to make sure that you're done treating before we make a claim, but it is something that we have a lot of experience doing, and not all law firms do. So if you already have an attorney, just make sure that you verify that that attorney has this type of training.
All right. Great to see you again, Kim, and hopefully your information has helped out anybody. But just keep that in the back of your mind in case something happens, especially with the weather that we're experiencing this spring here in Central Iowa.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. Just give us a call.
Thank you so much.